Check this out. Today is dyno day for Maude.
Did have another issue with the fuel pump. My good friend Wes, Gucci truck.
An obligatory Costa coffee.
Good to see you again, man. Stupidly rich.
Hello and welcome to this video. I'm Marcus Hayes and today is dyno day for Maude, my Maude Mk2 Escort. I'm soon going to be jumping in my dad's Mark III and heading over to Maude's garage, but there's something here at home that I just had to show you first. Got a new addition to the model car cabinet. Check this out. Proper Ford race team set from Hot Wheels. Got a Mk2 Escort in there, which I didn't even think Hot Wheels made. A Mk1 Escort, Mk1 Transit, and this truck transporter. Absolutely love this set. Really glad that the one I've got hasn't got any damage on the box, because I won't even be taking them out of the box ever. They can just sit in there like that. That set was never released in the UK, but there are some people in the UK that have got them, that are selling them on eBay. Because it is from overseas, it was ridiculously expensive, but as soon as I found out about it, I just had to pull the trigger. I wouldn't have even known about this set if it wasn't for a guy called Grant in Australia, so massive shout out and a thanks to you. But yeah, absolutely love it. I would like to get another set, maybe with a damaged box, which hopefully won't be as expensive, and then I'll be able to actually have those models out of the box and I can tuck this one away for safekeeping. But yeah, this set will definitely be staying in the box. Anyway, as I say, today is dyno day for Maude. I'm going to head over to my garage and do a few checks, and I'll probably pick this video back up once my friend Wes turns up with his recovery truck and it's time to take Maude to the dyno.
All right, so a few hours have passed and I'm round the garage with my good friend Wes, who's come down with his truck to transport the car to the dyno. Maude is as ready as she's gonna be. I did have another issue with the fuel pump. Seems like there's a bit of a loose connection internally, but I took the cover off it and bent some tabs and it seems to work perfect now. The way it works, it's kind of like the points you get in an old distributor. So when they're open, it powers the pump up, and then there's a little plunger sort of thing in the middle which detects when there's back pressure, I guess, like when the carbs are full, and then when that rises it pushes the points together, which shuts the pump off. But yeah, I've took it round the block, you know, going over speed bumps and stuff, and it seems to be working fine now, so fingers crossed it'll be all right in the dyno. And what I've learned is that even when the carbs are full up, you do get a tick every sort of 10 seconds. So yeah, when we're on the dyno, I will be able to tell straight away if it's not working properly. Anyway, time for us to get Maude onto Wes's Gucci truck. Now, Wes actually works for a company called Nationwide Vehicle Transport, and I will leave links in the description to their social media and their website. I'll also leave their email address down there, so if any of you guys need any cars transported, definitely get in touch with them and let them know that I sent you. Will she start?
She's definitely going to start.
All right, so we're on the road. We just stopped off at a Shell garage to put loads of V-power in the old girl, and of course to get an obligatory Costa coffee. Wes is having a Costa hot chocolate. Now Maude is getting tuned at Surrey Rolling Road by tuning legend Chris Todd. I think we're on the road early enough to beat the big rush hour traffic. So yeah, I'll catch back up with you when we get to Surrey Rolling Road. We are. We're early. Chris is early as well. Good to see you again, man. time to see what's what. All right, so the idle AFR was stupidly rich, and I've just wound the idle mixture screws in. They're at like half a turn out now, so yeah, it's still too rich, but we're gonna run it and see what the AFRs are further up the rev range. Because to change any of the jets on these carbs, I'm gonna have to take them off.
Ten to one all the way across.
Yeah, okay.
Poor thing's not going to make any power at that either. I don't even map turbo engines anywhere near that rich. So.
Right. At the moment, I have 160 main jets in there, and the only ones that I've got smaller with me are 150s, although they're ones that I've drilled out myself to 150. But luckily, Chris brought his soldering iron with him today. So we're going to try and make some 140 jets, Chris.
Yeah, man.
And try that, yeah? So now comes the hassle of removing the bike carbs so we can change the main jets. All right, so we've got the 140 jets in it now. We also put the 40 idle jets in, and I've set the idle mixture screws to 2.5 turns out. So we'll just see how she does now.
Loads better. Go a little bit leaner than that eventually, but I'll wait until it's up to proper temperature.
Yeah.
We'll see what it is then.
Cool. We'll just see what the mains are doing now. All right, so everything seems as it should be, apart from one spot at part throttle low down. So I've just tried richening the needle jets because they were on their leanest setting. If it does anything drastic anywhere else, then I'll just put them back how they were, and I'll just have to live with that slight lean spot at very part throttle. But I don't really drive the car at part throttle much anyway.
The idle's still a bit on the rich side, but I don't think it's worth leaning it off because I think it will bring back some of that bit. So
yeah.
I'd say leave it as it is. It's not rich enough to foul the plugs unless you're sat in traffic for like an hour idling.
Yeah.
So hopefully, yeah, should be good to go, mate.
Yeah, no, cool, man. Thank you. All right, so we've ended up with 162.4 horsepower, which is slightly more powerful than Maude's old setup when it was first tuned years ago. Yeah, I'm just happy that we was able to get it running well today. I came here hoping that we could get it running at least safe, and then I just assumed I was going to have to get some different needles or different jets. But yeah, that's definitely more than safe. Having the bonnet up when we was running it helped it pick up a couple of horsepower, so you know, part of the issues we're having is to do with heat. But yeah, quite a successful session, I'd say. For me. All right, massive thanks, guys. As always, I'm sure I'll be back soon.
Always a pleasure, mate. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, the positivity was short-lived. Unfortunately, just coming out of the dyno, flicked it sideways, and then the fuel pump issue reared its ugly head again. So we managed to get the car on the back of Wes's truck with the starter motor. And yeah, looks like I'm gonna have to take Maude home and then jump in my dad's Mark III to go home. But first, we decided to stop off for a McD's. Alright, so back at home after a successful evening on the dyno. My beautiful girlfriend Kat is wearing her Maude hoodie today. So we ended up with 162.4 horsepower and round about 162 foot-pounds of torque. Now I've got Maude's old graph here from when she had a 2 litre Z-Tech with a twin choke, and I'll have a little bit of a compare in a minute. But to recap, we ended up using the 40 idle jets with the idle mixture screws turned out 2.5 times. The idle is slightly richer than ideal, but because we had that little spot at part throttle that was a bit lean, Chris didn't want to lean out the idle jets because that could have made that worse. Although we were able to improve that vastly by richening up the needle jets. The main jets are 140s, which were obviously soldered up and drilled out by Chris. I will order a proper set of 140s to throw in there. But yeah, ultimately, I was only on the dyno for 2 hours, which isn't bad. We could have stayed there for another hour or two, trying to squeeze another 5 horsepower out of it or whatever. But yeah, for the time we were there, I think it was a very successful dyno session, especially seeing as part of me was expecting to go there today and find out stuff and not actually get a successful dyno session. I was expecting to come away today needing to go and buy some more jets or possibly change the needle jets. But yeah, she's running safe in terms of the AFRs. Nowhere near ideal like you would be able to get with a set of Gen Vs with fuel injection, but for a set of bike carbs, she's running sweet. So if we have a look at the old graph when she was running a twin choke on a Z-Tech, back then it made 159.8 horsepower and 162 foot-pounds of torque. The new setup, in terms of torque, it does get up to 150 foot-pounds here, which is around 3,600 revs, and then it does sort of drop, and then it goes back up above 150. If you ignore this bit, it's above 150 foot-pounds from roughly 4,100 RPMs, I would say. Whereas the old setup, the torque was really good. It got up above 150 foot-pounds at 28 or 2900 revs per minute, and then it holds it until around 5,200 revs. Whereas on the new setup, it's above 150 foot-pounds right up to about 5,400 revs. In terms of horsepower, it gets up above 150 horsepower at 4,900 revs, and it holds that all the way until, well, almost until Chris backed off, but certainly up until, you know, over 7,000 RPMs. Whereas the old setup, in terms of horsepower, it didn't get up above 150 bhp until about 5,200 revs, and then that peaked at sort of 6,400 revs. So yeah, there's a smaller window where it was up at the sort of peak horsepower. So yeah, they're very similar in many ways. But yeah, this setup, apart from this little blip in the torque, it's a much torquier curve, and the BHP definitely gets up there sooner and holds for longer. Now, I was hoping that this setup would make at least what the old setup made, apart from a slight leaning at part throttle, which we did improve by adjusting the needles. For a set of bike carbs, the new setup is sweet. Now, I'm not actually sure if I'm going to bother trying to fit longer trumpets to the bike carbs. I'm definitely not going to do it yet. The fact that I've come away today with an engine running safe means I'm probably not going to bother. If I really want to chase power, I can always throw a set of DCOE carbs on it or switch it to injection and put Gen Vs on it, you know, later on. But at the moment, I'm probably going to leave it alone. I do need to buy another fuel pump. It seemed to work all right once we got Maude back to the garage. When I was fiddling around under there when it did fail, just after we came out of the dyno. It was very hot, so I don't know if it's, you know, the pumps got really hot and that's why it failed. But yeah, I'm just glad Wes was still around to rescue me. And to be honest, if it wasn't for me forgetting that I had that issue earlier on with the fuel pump, I probably wouldn't have even planned to drive the car home. But yeah, I'm just, as I say, glad that Wes was there to transport the car back to the garage. Now, in 2 days, I'm going to be bringing Esther home from the paint shop. Really, really looking forward to seeing her new paint job in the flesh. And my main focus at the moment is tomorrow I'm going to have to go around the garage and make space for Esther so that she can be put back in her garage. And I also got a message today from Chris Kemba at Clump Fab, and he said he sent me some dates on Instagram of when I can take the new project down to him. So yeah, loads going on at the moment, and I'm just trying to focus on one thing at a time. Before I go, I want to send another massive thanks out to Wes for transporting Maude to the dyno and back. Don't forget, if any of you guys need any vehicles transported, I'll leave their links in the description. Also, massive thanks out to Chris Todd for doing an epic job on the tuning. I highly recommend, if any of you guys need your cars tuned, you get in touch with Chris Todd. I'll leave a link to his Facebook in the description so you can drop him a message. And if you do get in touch with NVT or Chris Todd, definitely let them know that I sent you. So other than that, I'm going to end this video here. If you did think it was any good, please do give it a thumbs up and a share. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Click subscribe to keep up to date with all my future uploads, and check the links in the description to my social media and my website. I'll also leave my email address down there for anyone who wants to contact me. Massive thanks, as always, for your continued support of my channel. But other than that, until next time, from me and my beautiful girlfriend Kat, thanks for watching.